Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today, after the weird, wild weekend that was week 9, we are now going to do my NFL Power Rankings tier list, whatever you want to call it, after week 9, going to week 10. And there's been some movement, but we're starting to see a lot of solidification into tiers this week. Some movement, some not moving as much. But before we get started into the tier list, please like, comment, and subscribe below. It'll mean a lot for me as we're going through the season. But let's go and get started with the Arizona Cardinals. And oh my gosh, that was an awful performance. I feel bad for Clayton Tune because the Cardinals decided to trade away Josh Dobbs to the Vikings, start a 5th-round rookie against the best defense in the NFL. He stood no chance. The offense was smothered. They got blanked 27-0. And you gotta wonder why they got rid of Dobbs, considering what he did with the Vikings, which we'll get to later. But yeah, no, Arizona, you're the worst team in the NFL, and if you're going for Caleb Williams, you're doing it right. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who I am putting into the bad tier, mainly because Arthur Smith is a freaking idiot. How do you not use your 3 top 10 picks? I know he doesn't care about fantasy football. I'm not saying this from a fantasy football standpoint. I'm saying this as the best way to run your offense. Why are you not using the talent of Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, who was considered to be a generational running back prospect? In your run-heavy offense, you keep using Tyler Algier, who is a good back. He's a good back. You should use him. But Cordell Patterson is getting the same amount of touches as Bijan Robinson, the 6th overall pick in the draft. And they don't need to use Drake London when he's on the field. And so, on goal line, instead of using Algier or Bijan, you decided to do a jet sweep to Jonnu Smith, which, Jonnu Smith, good athlete, good tight end, really good number 2 tight end. But is that really your best goal line option? No wonder you lost. No wonder you lost to the Vikings. And Josh Dobbs, who was there for 2 days, doesn't know any plays, doesn't know any of his teammates, and you lost to them. You should be embarrassed, and you should be fired at the end of the season. That's all. I don't even care about the Falcons. Why am I getting so dang angry? That's my question. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens, who, they're the best team in the AFC right now. Let's just get that out of the way. Best team in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens. That is 2 playoff caliber teams that they have absolutely steamrolled. They steamrolled the Lions. Now they steamrolled the Seahawks. And that offense, when that is clicking on all cylinders, they're good. They are really, really good. But it will be interesting to see once we get into more divisional play, as the AFC North is getting very interesting. The Bengals are on the rise. Cleveland's defense is still good. And the Steelers are the Steelers, and they're doing their random bullcrap. But, yeah, right now, Baltimore is number 1 to AFC, number 2 overall on my tier list. So, yeah. Next up, we got Buffalo, who is dropping out of all playoff tiers entirely and landing in mid. If the season ended today, they would be out of the playoffs. And the past 3 or 4 weeks, they have not looked right. They haven't. They really have not looked right on offense at all. You got to be wondering what the heck is going on out there. The defense isn't playing that well. The offense has looked flat most games. And it's just, you got no idea what's going on with them. And so right now, until they prove otherwise, and until some of the other teams ahead of them start playing bad, they're mid. And they're going to stay that way for a bit, I think. Next, we've got the Carolina Panthers, who are going to be slightly above the Cardinals, just 1 spot above. That was rough. Bryce Young, there's going to be conversations if he was the right pick at number 1, especially considering what C.J. Stroud was doing for Houston. But throwing 2 pick sixes is never a good sign. He really, really struggled against the Colts defense. And, it's just not good. It is not good in Carolina right now. You got to be wondering what the heck they're thinking right now, especially considering they gave up their 1st-round pick next year to the Bears, which is currently looking like a top 3 pick. That is not good. So, Carolina, you're looking really suspect right now and really dumb for making that decision to jump up. Not because of Bryce Young being bad, but it's because of where your draft position is going to be next year. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears, who are going to be dropping down to tanking. They need Justin Fields back really, really bad. They had opportunities to win the game against the Saints, but Tyson Badgett just kept turning the ball over. It just wasn't good. The Saints defense really smothered him there. So right now, yeah, you're in tanking right now. Moving up a tier, heading back into the playoff picture, Cincinnati Bengals. Ever since Joe Burrow became fully healthy, they have looked really, really good. They have been really toying with opponents. Offense has been really good. Saw them Sunday Night Football against the Bills. They really took care of business there. I got no complaints about what they're doing. It's going to be interesting once they face Cleveland because that defense will really shut them down. But right now, Bengals, you're up in wildcard tier now. Good for you. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns, who I'm putting just above Cincinnati at the moment because of how dominant the Browns defense has been. Like, if you can get, like, average play out of that offense with Deshaun Watson, who looked decent last week, granted, it was against the Cardinals, but if the Browns can continue playing defense like they have been all year, we can have a 2015 Broncos scenario where that defense carries them far into the playoffs, potentially. And the offense is just enough. But right now, you're in wild card tier mainly because the Ravens are just so dang good in that division right now. So you're going there. Next up is the Dallas Cowboys. They're in wild card tier. They had every opportunity to beat the Eagles, but they didn't. They failed execution. Whether it's Mike McCarthy being a bad play caller or Dak Prescott not executing or players not executing well. Dallas, again, is proving why we don't really trust them to go far in the playoffs. Like, they will make the playoffs. Like, that's almost a given every year. But they never go far because there's just so many mistakes there. So, Dallas, you're staying up there. Denver, you're still in bad tier. On a bye week, hopefully you guys are going to be able to get some offense going coming up soon. Russ has looked really solid this year, but you got to wonder about that offense and the defense really gelling together. So, right now, Denver, you're in bad. Detroit, going up to division tier. Did you guys play this week? I don't remember if you did or not. Oh, where is it? I'm pretty sure you did. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, come on here. Do-do-do-do. 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 No, you didn't. You were on a bye week. You guys are still doing good. Clear favorites in the NFC North, especially because Minnesota lost Cousins. I mean, Josh Allen's been a good story for them, but I don't think he's going to carry them to division contending quite yet. And Green Bay and Chicago nowhere near ready to compete. So this is division is yours for the taking. I'm not quite ready to put you back on the Super Bowl contender yet because I haven't seen a dominant performance since that smack in the mouth that Ravens gave you. But you guys are on the right track. You're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the NFC, and you're contending for the Super Bowl berth there. So good on you, Detroit. Good on you. Moving up a tier into bad, I'm putting Green Bay because I know it was against Brett Rippon. I completely understand that. But the way I saw that team play, they should have won more than the 17 points they did because that offense was driving well all game. There was 4 drives that were killed because 2 were kind of stupid offensive offside penalties on 4th and 1. And 2 of them were based on fumbles that were unfortunate, but the defense held them to 0 points there. But if those didn't happen, the offensive numbers would have looked a lot better. Jordan Love was very efficient in that game, something that we've been wanting to see for a while. Went 20 for 26 with 1 touchdown. No turnovers on his part. And the defense actually played really, really well. I know Brett Rippon is Brett Rippon, but they still had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua held under 5 receptions at under 100 yards combined. When those guys are 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. And they also have been really stopping the run pretty good. And so it'll be very interesting to see what they do against the Steelers this week. But that's for the prediction video to go over. But right now, Green Bay, you're not in tanking tier anymore. So as a fan, I'll take that. Next up is the Houston Texans, who are going up to mid. And oh my goodness, CJ Stroud locked up Rookie of the Year this week. What he did and what this Texans team showed overall is that they are on the right track in the rebuild. They're even ahead of schedule because right now they're 4-4. They could potentially compete for a wild card berth this year with a rookie quarterback and a young defense. DeMeco Ryans is coaching the heck out of this team. They're gritty. They're tough. They don't quit. That's what you want out of a football team. And C.J. Stroud is their guy because he has looked every bit the part of a number 2 overall pick. Like, he has looked fantastic. And with 40 seconds left in the game, you lead them on a game-winning touchdown drive. holy crap, man. Holy cow. That's all I got to say there. So, you guys are doing good. You're doing everything right you need to. So, good on you, Houston. And next up is Indianapolis, who is also going to be mid. They picked up a win against the Panthers, really on the back of 2 pick sixes. You're just kind of treading water this year with Gardner Minshew, who is like a high-end backup, low-end starter. And you're just kind of wondering, trying to get to next year for Anthony Richardson, but you're still going to kind of compete, see what you have in some of the other young players you got. So you guys are doing pretty good, a lot better than I expected this year. So good on you, Indianapolis. Going up to the division tier is Jacksonville. I think they're still the favorites to win that division, even though Houston is really kind of catching up in quality of play. But Jacksonville, I just think, is a more solid, complete team. They got some experience from last year. Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good this year, and you got to kind of see what to go from there. And I think Jacksonville, coming off the bye, is going to be well rested. Their players are going to play well. And so, yeah, good for you, Jacksonville. Kansas City, it was a bit of a struggle against Miami. Only won by 7. I expect a lot more offense in this game, but again, I keep saying this, even though they look shaky sometimes, until they have an absolute terrible game and some other teams really, really impress me, Kansas City is always going to be a Super Bowl contender. Anytime you have Pat Mahomes, you're a Super Bowl contender for me. So, Kansas City, you're doing good. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Going up the mid again is Chargers. Really, really solid win over the Jets, 27-3. The defense really locked down Zach Wilson, made his life a living hell type thing. Got a punt return touchdown. Kind of wondering about the offense a bit there because they did struggle a bit. A lot of field goals. You want to see more touchdowns, but you got the win. You're still being competitive, and so you're going to be there in mid. Dropping down for tanking just because of how bad you were this week, because I think with Matthew Stafford, you're not a tanking team. But my gosh, that was a terrible performance. Even with Brett Rippon quarterback, you should have been able to score more than 3 points against the Green Bay Packers. And it's like, that is embarrassing. That is really, really embarrassing. You're dropping down a tank for this week just because of that. You made the Packers look competent, and that's saying something. Moving up to bad, the Raiders. It really was a coaching change they needed, I think. Granted, it was against the Giants, but that was like the perfect opponent to have a little get-right game with. And you could just feel that the players feel like a massive burden is lifted over their shoulder with the firing of Josh McDaniels. Antonio Pierce seems like he is a player's coach, like a Dan Campbell type. And I think if he continues like getting these guys fighting for games, because I don't know how many games they're going to win. Really don't. Actually, you're going to go up here. He should be retained as the head coach because I think Mark Davis has to know that hiring these dumb idiots and John Gruden and Josh McDaniels, he can't do that again. He can't do what he did to Rich Bisaccia a couple years ago, who rallied that team around him and got him into the playoffs. And if Antonio Pierce does the same thing, he needs to be the head coach here. And that's just saying something. So, Raiders, I think you got a bright future if they keep Pierce, but let's see how much of an idiot Mark Davis is. Dropping down to division tier, dropping a few spots in division tier as well, Miami. You guys still have not beaten a quality opponent. You're 0-3 against teams over 500. You dominate bad teams. But I need to see you beat a contender before I put you back on Super Bowl contender. I think you have the tools to do it. Your offense can do it. You just need to execute better. That's all I'm going to say. I think you guys will be fine, especially considering the division you're in. I think you're going to be ahead of Buffalo. But you got to shape up against, if you want to beat the Kansas Cities, the Baltimores, the Jaguars, or if you make the Super Bowl like the Eagles. You need to execute better for that. Next up is Minnesota, who I'm putting in mid. What a win for Josh Dobbs. Like, you guys, after hearing that Kirk Cousins went down, thinking your season is over, getting that type of performance out of Josh Dobbs, who didn't even start the game because he was brand new, and came in and came from behind and beat the Falcons. That was really impressive. Now let's see you guys can keep that momentum going. That's what I want to see. And so, if you can do that, you can get up in the wild card tier again. I really do believe that. But right now, you're staying in mid. Actually going to be ahead of Texas in mid. So, keep it up. Keep it up. Patriots, you're still bad. You're one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think you're clearly taking for one of the top 3 quarterback prospects because I think Mac Jones is broken off beyond repair. And you lost to the Commanders. That's all I got to say for you. Moving on. New Orleans. Division tier. Yep, you're in division. because I think you're the best team in the NFC South. Your offense is doing enough to win. Your defense is playing decent football. And I'm very happy I picked up Taysom Hill in fantasy because you're using him a lot more. And so, yeah, you did beat a bad Bears team. You almost kept them in the game for too long, but New Orleans, you're currently leading that division, and you deserve to be up there. Tanking, you're bad. You're trash. Daniel Jones is out for the year, and you're starting Tommy DeVito at quarterback. That's all I need to say about how bad you are. And so, yeah, no, you're trash. Stay down there. You're bad. Still keeping you in mid for now, but you're getting very close to being put in bad New York Jets. Because it is very obvious that you cannot keep playing Zach Wilson quarterback. He is awful. Granted, that O-line and receivers are not helping, but he is not making any good decisions at all. You need, honestly, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is saving this team because that O-line is still garbage. Your receivers aren't that good outside of Garrett Wilson, and you're wasting a great defense. Shame on you for not trying to get a veteran quarterback as soon as Rodgers went down, because you should have known Zach Wilson would have done this. You should have known. And I feel bad for Jets fans. Like, I know they talk a lot of smack this offseason, but this is because this is the first time they have had hope in years. Rodgers is going to save this franchise, and I don't blame him for thinking that. But if Rodgers comes back now, he ain't saving this team because he's going to get killed again. That's all I'm going to say. Number 1 this week, Philadelphia. 7-1. You beat a solid Cowboys team. You're doing everything you need to do to keep up. And 7-1, and I don't even think you've hit full gear. That's saying something. You guys are a really impressive team. You keep winning, and right now you're number 1. Staying in wild card tier, Pittsburgh. Somehow, someway, Pittsburgh's doing it. I don't know how. I don't know why. Steelers bullcrap. Steelers magic. That's all I'm going to say. Because with the way your offense is like 85% of the time, you should not be this good. You should not be winning this many games. But you are. And I don't know. I really have no explanation for it. So, wild card tier. Dropping down tier, Seattle. You're still a wild card team because the NFC is kind of bad. But holy free holies. You guys got smacked. You guys got smacked hard. Geno Smith is not looking good. He's not. And you just got to wonder, what the heck are you guys doing? Because right now, if you weren't in the NFC, you'd be a very mid team. And so, yeah, you're going to be down there for now. Division tier, San Francisco. With their bye week, going to get healthier again. Seattle being blown out bad. They're now leading the division again. I still think they're the best team overall in the division. We just need to see them execute again better. So, San Francisco in division. Tampa Bay, high end of bad. You guys are under front at 500, but Baker Mayfield has been playing his butt off. You guys were so close to winning against the Texans and being in mid, but still lost. The defense is concerning with how many points they gave up, but you got some pieces there, and Baker has looked pretty solid. Tennessee, I still think you're not a great team, but I think you are doing the right thing in starting Will Levis. You guys are very close to beating the Steelers, but Will Levis needs development time, and he's looked pretty solid in 2 games he has played. The rest of the year is just trying to figure out if he's the guy or not. You want to build around him, so you're up there in bad. And Washington, another team in bad, beat the Patriots only by 3. Sam Howell still doesn't look that great, but he hasn't looked that bad either, so you're just kind of just there in bad. And so this is my tier list. In Super Bowl, we got Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City, Division, Detroit, Jacksonville, Miami, San Francisco, New Orleans, Wildcard, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Dallas. Mid, I have Buffalo, Minnesota, Houston, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, New York Jets. Bad teams, I got the Tampa Bay, Las Vegas, Tennessee, Atlanta, Denver, Washington, Green Bay. Tanking, got Los Angeles, New England, Chicago, New York, Carolina, and Arizona. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Peace.